Welcome to Words of Light for Today, a teaching ministry that shares godly principles while giving spiritual insight and divine revelation from the Word of God for the everydayness life brings. Be richly blessed as we join Linda Adkins.
I was reading this week, and I read in Matthew 5. If you want to just listen for a few minutes, you may want to turn someplace else. Jesus said, "You are the salt of the earth, and you are the light of the earth." And I thought, I wonder how many people really believe that he's saying that to them. You are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. I mean, if he were to stand and say that, we'd probably look around to see if he was talking to the person behind us. Because we don't always feel like that we're the salt of anything or the light of anything. If anything, we feel like we need light. But he wasn't wrong in saying that. He's doing everything he can do to bring our life to a flavor that will minister to everybody. Food tastes so much better with salt. If it's just a little bit, it just livens the food. And for me, it has to be a whole lot. I have my own personal salt shaker. But the thing is, we don't always see ourselves like that. We don't always have our mind on God. We don't always give light. We don't always do what we know that we're supposed to do. We don't always feel like that we're strong in the Lord and in the power of His might. We don't always feel that way. We need somebody to lean on. We need somebody to answer our question. But He's still saying these things about us. If the Lord be for you, who can be against you? And we think about that through tears. When things happen, we get hurt, we cry, we mourn. We don't know why good things don't happen to us, but good things have happened to us personally, to us as a church. For one thing, we're still alive. And we've got today to improve. Well, I'm going to get better at this. Well, if you're going to get better, then you're going to use this to do it with. Not a treadmill, not running, not jogging, not working, not any of this, because He's given you all that. He gave you the legs to walk with and run with. He gave you the job you've got. He gave it to, have you thought about that? Have you thought about the fact that He's give you the job that you had? I remember, you're already retired, but I remember praying for that job for you. So you took that job that the Lord gave to you, made an opening for you, and you went in and worked, what, 30 years? 28, okay. So you see, we don't have anything, as this church is, that He hadn't give to us. So the things that He's saying about us in the Scriptures, there are things like we want to think that He might be talking about somebody else, but He's not. He's talking to the one that's reading it. That's who He's talking to. That's who it was written for, to the one that's reading it. Then I went over to one of my favorite scriptures, which is Psalms 43. Every time I go to Psalms 43 and read it, I learn something else. Let me see, I don't know if I want to read it out of this one or this one. He said, verse 1, "Vindicate me, O God, and plead my cause against an ungodly nation. Deliver me from the deceitful and unjust man." And there are deceitful and unjust men all around us that are running our nation. Then he says, "For you are the God of my refuge. Why have you rejected me? Why do I walk around mourning because of the oppression of the enemy? Send out your light and your truth. Let them lead me. Let them bring me to your holy hill and to your dwelling place. Then I will go to the altar of God, to the God of my joyful gladness." Do you have joyful gladness today? Well, yeah, I've been on vacation and I'm so tired, I don't know what to do. That sounds like an oxymoron. Vacation tired. So that means we don't know what we want. We don't know if we want to go back to work to rest up or look for another vacation to take. Send out your light and your truth. Lord, have mercy. Seems like it would be, light and truth would be synonymous of each other. And the Hebrews had a way of doubling over a word phrase like this one. And what they would do, one would emphasize the other. Light would emphasize truth. But what the Lord said to me was, you can't know truth without light. And I said, okay. And then it came to me, it's because you can't see it if there's not light. Have you ever known the truth about something and no matter what you said to anybody else, they couldn't see what you were saying? I have. I have been in situations where I knew what the facts and the truth were. But to explain it and to try to give it to someone else, it was almost impossible. They couldn't see it. And you know why? It was because they were dark. So you have to have light in order to know truth. He said, I'm depressed and I'm mourning. And the only deliverance from a mourning, depressed, and sometimes you don't even know how depressed and oppressed you really are. Amen. Until you pass by a mirror and happen to look at your face. And then you think, what's the matter with me? But he's saying here, if you send out your light and your truth, let them lead me. I'm in a fix here. I'm depressed. The enemy has depressed me. He's oppressing me. I'm surrounded by a bunch of deceitfulness. That can be on your job. That can be in situations that you got yourself involved in. There's all kinds of things that are going on. And you find yourself mourning about it or wooing over it. And David said, the only hope I have here is that I have this light and this truth. He says, why am I so depressed? Why this turmoil within me? See, you get to try to bring your thought on God. You get to try to bring your thinking towards God and on God, and you realize that you're being jerked back. Something else needs your attention. This one's called, that one's text, this one letter. All of these things, it's jerking you back. The moment that you make a decision to keep 95% of your thinking on Him, I'm going to tell you, you're going to have turmoil. You're going to have mental turmoil. But if you will just take advantage of what He has said, you will do the winning. You will be able to win. It won't take but a few minutes. You may have to really go to battle. But it won't take but a few minutes for you to gain back control of what belongs to you to start with. These other things are trespassing against you, and when they trespass against you, they cause oppression. I just thought I'd be out of debt by now. Well, keep going. Keep going. Do what it takes today. Don't create any new debt today. Because the things that you get, about the time you get them, you think, what am I doing with this? Why did I think that I wanted that? Listen, Henry Ford said this. I want to read it to you. He said, the truth frequently seems unreasonable. You talk about a businessman. But this was a businessman. The truth frequently seems unreasonable. The truth frequently is depressing. You ever got depressed when somebody told you the truth? Mm-hmm. The truth seems to be evil. You had somebody tell you the truth, and you said, that was a hateful thing to do. That was hateful to say. Listen. But it has eternal advantage. He's saying that the truth has the eternal advantage. It is the truth, and what is built thereon neither brings nor yields confusion. Now, Henry Ford was a wild man in business. And he no sooner started one car than he saw, I need to scrap this and start over. But you know what? When he started building, it was either the Model A or the Model T, whichever come first. He started building the Model A, and he realized halfway through it that he should have done it differently. But instead of scrapping it, and instead of quitting on it and starting over, he finished it and sold, I don't know how many. And then he built the other one with what he had learned in building the Model A, he put in the Model T. So he said, never quit on anything. Finish it to the end. Finish it. Don't scrap anything. Finish it. And take what you've learned and build something else. So he said, the truth frequently seems unreasonable. The truth frequently is depressing. The truth seems to be evil. But it has the eternal advantage. It is the truth, and what is built thereon neither brings nor yields confusion. I've been hurt by the truth. I have been depressed by the truth. I have cried over the truth. But the truth never left me confused. And when I got man enough to face the truth that I was looking at and the truth that I heard and by light saw, I went free. That's what Jesus said about truth. It makes you free. It not only sets you free, it makes you free. It remakes what's not free into freedom. Now, no wonder David said, if you'll send out your light and your truth, if you'll give me your light first and your truth, then I'm going to know how to walk. I'm going to know which way I'm going. Winston Churchill said this, some men practically fall over the truth, but pick themselves up and go on as if nothing has happened. We've all said things like they wouldn't know the truth, it slapped them in the face. This is what he's saying. They fall over it, but they pick themselves up and go on as if nothing had happened. Because some people don't want to know the truth. They don't care anything about the truth. David said in Psalm 67, you want to go there? He said this, may God be gracious to us in verse 1 and bless us and cause His face to shine on us, that your way may be known on earth and your salvation among all nations. Lord, have mercy. Let His face shine on us. Do you know what? The only way you're going to know God is for Him to look straight at you and shine on you. And through that light of His face, give you an understanding of who He is and what He wants to do for you and through you. You have been called to bring flavor to everything around you. You have been called to bring that spice that salt brings, that flavor that salt brings to every part of life that you're living and that you're touching other people. You want to be what God has called you to be, but you are the salt of the earth and you are the light of the world. Now, you know what? If I can do that, I can help someone understand as much about God as I understand. Because my light extends not to what I don't know, but to what I know. You have nothing to give somebody if you don't know. But if you understand what you're reading, that's why the Ethiopian asked Philip, he said, do you understand what this man is saying? Is he talking about himself or is he talking about somebody? Do you understand this? And Philip happened to understand it. And he said, yes, I do. And so he told him about salvation and led him in salvation. He says, well, here's the water. Can I get baptized? Now, you know what? I can only give out to the length and the breadth that light is in me and truth is in me. He said, if you will send out your light and your truth out after me, that light and truth will bring me to your altar. Then I'll not be depressed anymore. Amen. I'm not going to be oppressed by what's going on around me. This is just today's work. You know, you don't have to get upset and cry yourself to sleep over something that's going to change in a 24-hour period. Tomorrow will look different. Unless His face shines on us, We cannot understand who He is or what He wants. I don't care how long you sing. I don't care how long you shout. I don't care how you wave your arms. I don't care how long you think you pray. Unless He shines His face on you, you're not going to know what to do. You're not going to know Him. You're not going to be able to see into your situation. You're not going to be able to understand how to do what is the next thing I need to do. And we have learned here that we need to know what the next step is. Just do the next thing. Do the next thing. What's your next thing? I'm going to eat some lunch after this. That's my next thing. Well, that's not spiritual. No. It's not spiritual, but it'll keep me from fainting. And you know what? If I bless over it and sanctify it with the word of truth, then, I'm just going to be still. I'll know how to regroup because I trust Him. He sends out His truth and His light. His face is shining on mine. I don't come to situations that I say, well, I just don't know what to do. I don't know how to answer. I don't know where to go. I don't know what's next. I don't know what it is they want. Well, if you don't know all that, I'd sit down and be quiet if I were you, because you don't know anything else to do. Oh, I just, things are in such a mess, I just couldn't eat a thing. Well, try. And you see, when we talk like that, when we feel like that, it's like we're throwing trust away. Okay, I'm here. Okay, this is a mess. Okay, I see it. The light is on it. This is what you call a mess. But you see, I know He that can bring me out of this. If you send out your light and truth out after me, if you will shine your light in my face, the only way to know is for Him to shine on you, to show you what to do next, to give to you what to say. I don't come up to a place where I just throw my hands up and say, well, I don't know what else to do. If I don't know what else to do, you're not going to hear it. But I'm going to wait until I do hear. I'm going to wait until the wisdom does come, because it will. He said it would. In the self-same hour, I will give you a mouth and wisdom, so that you will know how to speak before a mess, that you will know what to do. Now, when we come to a place where we realize that all of this, we don't get too big or too deep in God, that we don't need to go back to these scriptures that He's led us to. You see, in Psalms 43, there's just depression and oppression all around him. The only hope he has is that the light comes. The only hope he has against all this deceitfulness is truth, is to have that truth open to him. You see, you can either be tormented and aggravated by the enemy's oppression, or you can be led by light and truth. I choose that one. Because David said, you know what, I'm just depressed. I don't know how I got this way. Well, you let your mind go to things that wasn't God. And if you get to doing that too often, you're going to see how depressed and oppressed you really are. And the enemy has beat you. He's beat you. And I hate for him to win. I hate for him to win. Then I will go to the altar of God, to the God of my joyful gladness. But right up here he says, I'm depressed. I'm walking around mourning. But he realizes, he gets a little bit of light from verse 3 down to verse 4. just took one verse to help change it. He sent His light and His truth for him. Let them lead me. Let them bring me to your holy hill and to your dwelling place. Then I will go to the altar of my God, to the God of my joyful gladness. Why are you cast down, O my soul? Why are you disquieted within me? Why is there so much turmoil? Hope in God, for I will yet give Him thanks, the salvation of my countenance and my God. You know what? You should never let a worried look get on your face. You should never have anybody ask you, what's the matter? Because of the look on your face. If you really believe God and you are living up to the light and the truth you have, then stay with that. Don't let yourself be found mourning and because of the oppression of the enemy. The Scripture says, oppression makes a wise man mad. If you find out you've been being oppressed by an enemy, you ought to run him off. Amen. You'd run anybody off from your house that was trying to get in that wasn't welcome there. You need to run oppression off. Don't get depressed over because something happens. My God, people, if we could just find ourselves in a position of believing what we are reading, His face shining in our face, let your face shine on us. Do you know what the shining of His face does? It opens you up so deep you don't know how far that goes. His truth, with that kind of encounter with God, goes so deep, listen to me, until it goes down inside you, brings your spirit up, fills it up, corrects things in your soul, divides the soul from the spirit and the joint from the marrow. It divides all that, separates it, and shows it to you and shows you how to walk in a joyful gladness.
You have been watching Words of Light for Today with Linda Adkins. For prayer or a free CD of today's message, please call 904-289-9727. Visit our website at wordsoflight.org, where you may order explosive and anointed teaching messages or other great resources from our bookstore. Be blessed and join Linda Adkins next time as she brings Words of Light for Today.